So it is 5:02, and we'll call the Education Commission meeting to order. On March 4th, 2020, Governor Newsom proclaimed a state of emergency in California as a result of the threat of COVID-19. On March 17th, 2020, Governor Newsom issued Executive Order N2920 superseding the Brown Act related provisions of Executive Order N25-20 issued on March 12th, 2020, which allows local legislative body to hold public meeting via teleconferencing and to make public meetings accessible telephonically or otherwise electronically to all members of the public seeking to observe and to address the local legislative body. Pursuant to Executive Order N29-20, please be advised that members of the Bell Gardens Education Commission will participate in meetings telephonically. The public may view the meeting online. The council chambers is closed to the public at this time. And did Christina join us?
I'm here. Can you see me?
Okay. Yeah, I see you now. Okay. So, Madam Secretary, can you please call roll?
Commissioner Paulo,
Present.
Commissioner Boado,
Present.
and Commissioner De Leon.
Present.
Thank you, and we have a quorum. Report of posting of the agenda. Estrella, were the agendas posted?
Yes, all agendas were posted in accordance with state law.
Okay. And the approval of minutes. Did everybody get a copy of last meeting's minutes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so if we can get a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
I second that.
Okay, thank you. Next up is new business. And first on our agenda is the chairperson election. And there's only 3 of you, so I hope somebody's interested. Is there anyone that would like to make a nomination?
I'll nominate myself for chairperson.
Okay. And do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Okay. So let's take a vote. Estrella, do you want to call roll for a vote?
Okay, Commissioner Paulo,
Your mic.
It's a yes for me.
Commissioner Boado,
Yes.
and Commissioner De Leon.
Yes.
Okay, so congratulations, Francis. You're our new chairperson. And so from now on, you'll run the meeting and we can start now if you're comfortable with that. Start with item B.
Okay, we'll start with item B, department updates. And is that going to be Roseanne?
That'll be me.
You? Okay, thank you.
Let's start with, so first on our report, I'd like to share that on February 12th, we did have our Prop 68 community engagement with the Girl Scouts. And part of the Prop 68 application, we have to have the community participate in some form. And so the Girl Scouts shared their vision for Bell Gardens Park, and they shared artwork, ideas on how to improve the park. Francis did participate in our activity, and we collected over 20 renderings of their visions for Veterans Park, and those were submitted. Actually, today we submitted the grant application to the state. So send all your good juju for that. And as soon as we get an update on the grant application, we'll share that with you all. We also had a flu clinic on February 19th, a regular a regular flu shot clinic. And we had about 25 residents who participated. Our department continues to provide supper to the children in the community. We serve about 1,200 meals daily. That's 400 per site, and we serve supper from 3 to 4 at Ford Park and at Bell Gardens Veterans Park and at the Neighborhood Youth Center. And so staff stations themselves curbside, and families just drive up and let staff know how many meals they need. And we've been, the numbers haven't stopped. Families are still in need, which is hard to hear, but it's good that we're still providing the service. Coming up, we have our senior meal distribution. We do deliver meals Tuesdays and Wednesdays to the seniors in the community, but we also have a monthly food distribution, and that goes pre-COVID, but of course, layouts have changed during the pandemic to ensure their safety. So some meals are picked up through a drive-through as well, which is new for the seniors. And we have about 200 seniors picking up meals on the second Friday of every month, and that'll take place this Friday here at Veterans Park at 12 o'clock. And on Saturday, we have our pet clinic. That's also monthly, and Saturday, March 13th is the upcoming pet clinic. So Vet Care provides vaccinations or packages for new pets, and those are low-cost vaccinations available for our residents, and they'll be here at Veterans Park from 12:30 to about 2 o'clock. They do stay longer if they have a longer line. They won't leave until everyone has been serviced. Here at the Community Family Service Center, we're continuing with our 211 LA County rental assistance. We have a March 31st deadline for this batch of applicants, which is 750 applicants. So staff is working around the clock to get all those rent relief applications processed. People are in danger of eviction, and so they're constantly reaching out to us asking for updates, and we're in a mad rush to get them approved as funding is running out. So that's something new that we were just informed about. The LA County has decided to not continue the rent relief program because the state is going to run their own program. And so we'll be partnering with the state now to run the new rent relief program, which will start this month. They're coming quickly. Does anybody have any questions? I'm going really fast.
What was the deadline for that rent relief, the apps? What was the deadline?
So the new state-run rent relief starts March 15th.
If I could just interject something, we were contacted last Saturday, which was March 6th. We had applied for the grant to continue to service Bell Gardens residents as well as the county. And we had 48 hours to apply for this grant, like 2 weeks prior, because they're moving very quickly from the state. And we found out on March 6th that we were indeed granted 1.7 million in funding to continue this program. We are going full bore with a social media campaign and flyers that will begin this weekend. But the program is actually available online starting March 15th. And any landlord or tenant can apply for this funding. And it is going to be administered by the state. The city of Bell Gardens is a facilitator to the state. We will be facilitating the program out of the Family Service Center, which we're in transition to move it into the former senior center, so kind of has its own place to be. So we're working very hard to to transition this, because we went from being notified on the 6th to saying we have to be operational on the 15th, which is Monday. So, but it definitely is going to put more money in the hands of anybody that lives in LA County. And because the service is being granted, offered here in Bell Gardens, we feel that we can help more of our residents directly access funding. And that's if they have fallen behind in rent from April 2020 to make them current.
Right. And that will also include utility assistance as well. Thank you, Roseanne. So, back to our updates. We are having a COVID memorial this Saturday. It'll be live at 5:30, and you can join us on Facebook or Instagram Live at BG Recreation. And the City of Bell Gardens will be joining 11 other cities who will be paying tribute to our dealer departed due to the virus. And families submitted their pictures. Yesterday was the deadline to submit pictures of any members lost due to the pandemic. And we're going to have a live mariachi at the event, and the event will be streamed live from City Hall lawn. So again, it'll be available at BG Recreation on Instagram or on Facebook Live. And our upcoming family food distribution, which is the third Saturday of every month, is on Saturday, March 20th. The event will be here at Bell Gardens Veterans Park, and the family food distribution will take place from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. or until we are out of supplies. We are getting 500 boxes of mixed food, so this will include fresh vegetables and milk, as well as dry goods. We've also been handing out diapers for those with infants. And again, that'll be here at Bell Gardens Veterans Park, Saturday, March 20th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then last on our upcoming events is our spring egg hunt. So we are having a special event, and that'll be Saturday, March 27th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. And residents of all ages are invited to participate in the secret egg hunt throughout the city. So residents can win prizes by posting pictures of themselves at the different sites with the hashtag of BG Egg Hunt. And people can drive up or they can walk to the various sites. And there will be a map of the locations coming up in a few days. We'll be sharing the map, and there will be 7 sites where the activities will take place. And participants can receive candy. They're going to receive eggs filled with candy or toys. And then the winners will be chosen randomly. And so there'll be more details coming on our social media, again at BG Recreation, either on Instagram or on Facebook, or they can call our office or check the city website at bellgardens.org for more information. And that's all I have for our department update.
I just have one more item. I know Anna mentioned the grant application. It's for $4.1 million to invest in at Veterans Park. So as Anna said, we'll keep our fingers crossed. We are also applying for Measure A grant We're applying for a Kaboom grant, and we're applying for a tire recycling grant. So all of those will come online here shortly in the next 30 to 45 days. So we'll be sharing that information in addition to everything else that we've got going on. The only other thing that I really wanted to touch on is just prior to our meeting, the county went into the red tier. And we were kind of pre-warned of this this week. So on top of activating the Family Service Center to provide this huge rent relief program, we're simultaneously getting back into outdoor recreation. So that means outdoor sports, and we have a number of residents and whatnot jumping at the bit to get back onto the fields. And so we have made the almighty day of April 1st as being accessible to the fields again. So with the opening, there are a number of COVID protocols that need to be followed in order to facilitate providing youth and adult sports again outdoors, not the gymnasium, but outdoors. And that will also include a number of recreational classes that will be moving towards the outside. And it's anticipated that in about 30 to 45 days, we'll be in the orange tier, I think is the next color. And that will allow us to do some indoor activities. So when the pandemic struck, our department made a 365-degree turn into doing social services. And now we're going back to do a 365-degree turn to continue to provide to provide recreation services once again. But we're also going to continue with the social services because those cannot go away. So in essence, we have pretty much doubled, maybe even tripled our workload. And so we're in the process of reorganizing and trying to get ourselves back on our feet. And so we're just asking for the community's patience, but everything's working towards April 1st, along with the opening, the reopening of the skate park. So I just wanted to put that out there. And so we've got a number of things going on right now. It's very busy, but I'm confident that the staff that we have are making the adjustments just like they made the adjustments about a year ago when it was when the pandemic forced us to redirect our activities. So once again, we'll be redirecting and providing those essential services to the community. So
Thank you, Roseanne. That was the most important part of the report. I missed it. April 1st is gigantic on my notes. Yeah, April, everything's going to start April 1st. Yeah, and that's our update. And I know April 1st will also affect the Learning Center, which is next on the agenda.
Yeah, so do you want to go right into that, the next one, learning centers? I know we wanted to hear an update as to how it's working or
Right. So
hours.
part of the opening procedures will include the learning centers, and that's targeted also for April 1st. The public Wi-Fi, they just finished installing over at Ford Park this week, so that will be up and running as well. And district partnership, that was Christina's agenda item, so we can defer to Christina for that.
You're on mute, Christina.
Thank you for that, Francis. I thought it was just important for the city to start establishing a relationship with the district. If we can possibly invite the superintendent or board member Cabrera, since she's from Bell Gardens and is a product of Bell Gardens, And establish a relationship with the district so that the district knows what the needs of the constituents in the city are. I'm hearing a lot of parents expressing that there's a heavy need for tutoring for their children with the distance learning. A lot of kids, you know, if they weren't doing well before pandemic, then they're probably doing a lot worse now with the distant learning, and that there's a gap. So in trying to catch on and with all the challenges with distance learning that distance learning brings. So I think it's really important that we invite the district or somebody from the district to our meeting and have them maybe do a presentation on what kind of resources they're providing to parents, and not just to students, to parents as well. You know, some parents don't even know how to go online and check their students' grades on those apps they have. So if they can provide training to these parents on where they can go to get these apps or locate these websites to check their students' grading, because I think a lot of the distant learning is that parents aren't checking student grades as well. So I think it's really important that they provide this training to some parents who aren't tech savvy, who don't know how to use devices, who don't normally use computers, to maybe provide them a training on how or where they can go to locate their children's grades and check on them so that they can get on their children as well. If the children are having are struggling, then they know because they'll see their grades. So I just think it's really important that we establish this relationship. And you know, with the tutoring, I know that Paramount, the city of Paramount partnered with their school district, and they contributed part of their CARES Act. I think it was, let me look here. They contributed, sorry about that. It was somewhere around $1.25 million of their CARES Act to go towards that tutoring. And they partnered with the district, and they also used some of that after school funding that you apply for through the state, through the Department of Education, through the state. So the CARES Act and some of that funding from the state, they used that to pay at least half of the tutoring that's provided to the school district for those children. And it's in Spanish and English, which would also be important to people in this demographic, since there are a lot of Spanish speaking or, you know, that's their first language for a lot of the children in this area. So I think it's important that we reach out to the district and see if maybe we can partner and do something similar. If not, I mean, I know that we're talking about the pandemic, moving to the red tier and things going back to like outdoors, kids transitioning back to school, but I don't think kids will be transitioning full time like right away. It's going to be a hybrid, and I'm hearing it's going to be about August. So I mean, we still have time. Kids still need tutoring, and the tutoring doesn't just have to be during the pandemic. You know, this can be something that we can have year round. And I know that for the last fiscal year, Montebello had somewhere around $3 million that they were granted for that after school funding. And I just want to know how much of that comes to schools in Bell Gardens. So, you know, if they could do a presentation and report to us what resources are coming to this city and the kids in this city, that would be awesome. And then if we can partner with, you know, a lot of cities partner with their districts on applying for those grants so that they have a better chance of being awarded grants for their specific city that go to their constituents. So maybe if we work together with the district and applying for some of those grants together, it might be more effective to getting grants in this area.
I agree, Commissioner. One of my goals this year is to establish a joint powers agreement between the city of Bell Gardens and the school district. The city of Montebello has a joint powers agreement with Montebello Unified, and it's 4 facilities. But the city of Bell Gardens does not have one with Montebello Unified. And that is a huge missing link because there's not a cooperative effort.
Right.
If I can suggest, you brought up some really great points about what you want to hear from the district. I think it would be to our benefit that if we create a document, a letter, a memo from the chair of this commission with specific items that you would like to see a report on, so that they're just not bombarded, so that there's specific things that they're going to have to respond to, or that we are requesting that they respond to, rather. So you would like to know, the items that you brought up. So, how can we do instruction on distant learning? How can we partner with tutoring, or whatever items specifically? And I think if we could target it to maybe 3 or 4, maybe 5 items that they can prepare a document for and then report back, so that there's just not different
Right,
pieces
right.
flying all over the place. So the if the chair would like to maybe work with the commission.
Yeah, I can definitely take the lead on that, and I'll work with the commission to get those key points, and then I'll draft a letter, present it to you guys before sending it over, and then we can get them to see what information they can get back to us, on our request.
Right, and what we can do also is put it, on our letterhead. We'll have it signed by the chair. And that way there's specific items that are being requested, so that it's just not open air. And then from there, I could see that it could develop into something else and we can evolve. But I definitely agree. I think it's important that the city and the district work more cohesively together on a number of things, not just programming. I'm talking about facilities and a number of other resources. We have resources that they need from us, and they've got resources that we need from them. And yes, the intent is to maintain the learning centers on a year-round basis, to enhance them, to provide more tutoring on a regular basis, with the emphasis on education, on creating opportunities. It's going to evolve with high school students coming in and tutoring, college students opportunities, because we've partnered with LA County, where we can bring on tutors from them. And the city's initial investment was the Wi-Fi, and that was part of our CARES funding, because we didn't have any access to Wi-Fi in our facilities. So the city made that investment in the community. So now we just need to make the best of it and figure out how we're going to continue to program and enhance our services. So I 100% agree.
And I just want to add on to Roseanne's comment about getting tutors from the high school or colleges. That's also a great idea, to get tutors at low cost, if not any cost. We can always work somewhat like a volunteer program, where these students that are spending their time volunteering can get credit or volunteer hours for that the city, that we can possibly sign off on. And that would be an incentive for students in the college and high school level to provide their services to the students in this area.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Would you
that's a great point. I was just gonna, sorry.
No, you go ahead. Your mic.
There we go. I tapped it. I know at UCLA there's a lot of student organizations that do that, but obviously on the west side, so we need to partner up with the local community colleges and universities, the Cal State LA, Cal State Long Beach, and partner with these organizations, because they do it already. We just need them to come to Bell Gardens, because I know they go to other cities around us. We just need
Yeah,
to get their help here.
I have a contact at Cal State LA. She's a counselor for students who want to be teachers. So I'll put in a call to her to see if she has anybody. And I wanted to point at something that you mentioned, Christina, about the parents not knowing how to check their students' grades or not knowing how to use those portals. That would be a really good suggestion to the district for a parent training.
Right. I know, because my son started off in Bell Gardens, but he had some really not so well teachers. So, I actually ended up taking him out and stuck him in the Downey Unified School District. And they do a lot of training their parents. They have these after school meetings for parents that, they schedule these meetings for parents to come in, learn how to help tutor their kids or help their kids at home when they're at home, and they teach them, you know, about these different portals and how to go check things. And, you know, they have these little trainings for the parents after school. And I just thought that was a very good tool that I don't really see in this school district.
Right.
And I have to agree with you. I work for a school district, and with distance learning, I know that my district did a really good job of making sure
Right.
that all the videos were in Spanish, English, Mandarin, all the languages that the parents speak, just because ultimately the parents are the ones helping their child at home right
Right.
now. So if Montebello is not doing that, you know, the district, or, you know, we need to look into it to see if they have those videos available and if the parents are aware. Sometimes it's the matter of the information's there, but the parents aren't aware that the information is
Right.
available. So definitely putting something in place.
Yeah, you
Right.
know, a lot of times parents are going to social media to be like, does anybody know where I can check my kid's grade? Or does anybody know this? Does anybody know when they're going to pass out the school books? Do anybody know when they're going to pass out the devices? You know, the school district should be informing the parents of where and how to pick these things up and find these tools and resources. So I just think, you know, the district, you know, maybe they don't know that the parents need this stuff. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's our job to bring it to their attention and let them know that there is a need for training for some of the parents so that they could be more helpful and be more support for their children.
Yeah, the other thing too, Christina, that we've already spoken about and met with staff on is the fact that sometimes the families lack the devices or lack
Right.
the internet at home. So one of the advantages of the learning centers coming online is that there is going to be a bank of computers there that parents can come in, say, you know, there'll be 4 to 6 of them where they can just check it out, use it there, check their children's grades, or uh, pay their Edison bill, or
Right.
you know, sometimes it's just those simple things that sometimes they need access to. So there will be a bank of, you know, 4 to 6 computers at each site, possibly more, with this state program that's coming in, and that way they can get access if they know how to do it. And that way, the public Wi-Fi will help them use those resources. So absolutely. I think the key is to get the school board, a school board member or an administrator to come to the meeting to respond so that we can get this information. And I think with Francis taking the lead on this and working with Christina and Oscar, I think we can formulate a really great letter to them that will kind of force them to provide us some very important information.
At the very least.
Yes. They did host parent trainings here in our facility for many years, but they'd be in the daytime. I think they were mostly targeting the preschool parents.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because it was during the daytime. You mentioned that in Downey they were doing them after school.
They did them after school. I remember they would always have them, like when kids were going to take those state testings, they invite the parents to come give the kids studying skills and how to test taking skills, and teach the parents on how they can help the children at home study, so that they have these study skills that they can apply when they took the state testing. And that's why they're so successful, and that's why they have a good passing rate, because they provide this training and all these study skills to the parents to help the children.
Right. So here we would need to be after, like maybe after 5 or 6 when people are out of work,
Mm-hmm.
not in
Yeah.
the daytime. Yeah.
And it wouldn't be a bad idea to invite both an administrator and a school board member, because the school board member would understand what their constituents and represent Bell Gardens on the board to make sure that the appropriate resources are being spent here. And the administrator can respond to uh, where there are maybe restraints or they don't have. So this way you kind of get both perspectives. And so I think that we have to start with this correspondence, make it such that it's very specific to the information that you want to receive, and we go from there.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a very important first step to take. Also, the school district has programs that, maybe a lot of the kids don't know about because they're not on that part of campus and they don't hear about it. The Regional Occupational Program, ROP, that was a big program. I took some of those courses when I was in high school. And so, some districts and some cities, they provide that to not only the students, but to adults and that live in that area as well. So, if they can, we can talk to them about what programs do they offer? Are they offered to adults? When are they offered, and which ones are offered in this area? Because I know each school in the district has their own ROP office, and they may have different programs that each office has. So it'd be nice to know which programs are being offered in this city, and if they're offered to adults, because those are trade skills for people that usually want to. People usually think of ROP like you're just going to graduate and go to work. Those are the kind of skills you get. But, these days, a lot of people that take ROP courses are, they're college bound, and they use what they learn in ROP to take it with them to college. So I think it's important to let us know what programs are offered and if they're offered to both the students and adults in this area. Such as like the EMT programs. I know Downey has it. Some other cities have EMT courses, and they're offered to the adults and the students at the city. So it'd be nice to know what programs they have for both adults and students.
I know that they have the adults club at Ford Park, and so maybe they offer some programs there that we're not aware about. So definitely looking into that.
I'm writing it all down.
Any more discussion regarding item E for the district partnership?
None for me. I think we made it clear what we want from the district. So it's just taking that first step in opening that line of communication with them and just, see where it goes from there.
Yeah, I think it's a great first step. It's a great suggestion. Thank you, Roseanne.
We can move on to item F, virtual programming.
That was also Christina's item.
Sorry, you guys, I'm bringing up all this stuff, but
That's great.
I think with the pandemic, a lot of kids,
The whole point of this.
there's a lot of, for one, there's a lot of screen time with kids now because of, they're on the computers all day. Even I just took my son to the eye doctor, and his vision has changed dramatically from the last time I took him, and that's because they're on the screen all day, right? So, but they're not on the screen all day. And I just feel like, with the city being closed, so I don't know how it would work now that the city is going to start opening up, but it was just a suggestion because everything was closed. People keep saying, what's the city offering? And I just thought it'd be nice if we started thinking about some virtual programming, because I know a lot of other cities are doing it. And so to see, what kind of classes we can offer virtually, if at the very least, some cities use links from the, we can search the web, or even the library has a lot of great links that maybe we can share them on the city website so that people can access them. I think a lot of people forget about the public library in the city, and they have a lot of great online resources. And so at the very least, if we don't have anything that we can find, we can always use the links from their website to direct people to where they can find things to do. And, they have a lot of great things. If people have a library card, they can access a lot of great courses. If you have a library card, you can also access lynda.com. And so if you want to learn something like how to do spreadsheets or how to use Word, you can always use your library card to access lynda.com or Gale University, any of those resources that are offered through the public library's website with your library card.
I absolutely agree. I think that we actually made, in some ways, we were kind of strapped. Our staff is in a large staff in comparison to a lot of other cities. And when the pandemic hit, our focus was more towards dealing with food securities and housing and a number of things. My hope is that starting April 1st and onward, that we'll be able to run more enhanced programming in person. I definitely think that we can put more links on our social media pages to the library. I'm a firm believer. I also do a lot of audiobooks from the county,
Right,
which
right,
I
right.
think is great. And, you know, I probably do a book a week from the county. And so I definitely believe that those are some great resources, and getting the library to even make a presentation similar to the school
Right.
district to the commission, I think will also enhance it. So maybe it's another month down the line where we can do that. But yes, I do believe that we can better that. I know a lot of my focus going forward, because it was happening just pre-pandemic, our programming was going to be more education centered, meaning the development of a lot of skills. We had we had weekend hiking trips set for families, which we were partnering with Outward Bound to come in and do a number of classes on recycling, on outdoor education. And so I'm keeping my fingers crossed that a year later, we're going to be able to reinstitute what we had already started. We had the foundation going to work with Outward Bound, to work with a number of agencies to bring in some outdoor recreational educational opportunities, setting up outdoor classrooms, running a STEAM camps with the science, technology, engineering, art, and math. Those were already in the works. So I think we have the foundation ready to go. Um, Lego robotics, that was another big one that we had in the works. And it just seems like I had the staff all moving in this direction, and then all of a sudden we got hit, and we just kind of put all of that to side, and we were more in survival mode. So now we're bringing all of that back out. And again, my goal is to be able to start programming those, especially into summer. So we'll start a little slow, but I think in summer we'll be able to offer the STEAM camps, the math camps, the reading camps, the reading, trips to the library, all of those things that were going to be part of our operations. And I think now that we're going to be expanding our staffing levels to be able to better serve that, will really go a long ways with helping the community. And I 100% agree with you, Christina. We need to get back to that.
Right. I just feel like spring break's around the corner. And so, maybe if we can't get anything ready for spring break, we can always focus on trying to get some stuff out for the summer. And it sounds like you guys already have things in the works. I just want to talk about a little statistic I found on the district's website. They say that juvenile crime triples between the hours of 3 and 8, and it peaks from 3 to 4. So, I mean, that's like, it makes you wonder, and it makes you want to get these kids engaged and involved in things so that they're not out running the streets and getting in bad trouble. So, I think it's really important that we start some planning our programmings, if not for the spring break, for the summer, definitely, since things are starting to open back up. So, that so that our youth they don't have to go to the streets or do things that they're not supposed to be doing. And, one bad choice, 1 second can change the course of the rest of your life, So, I just want to make sure we start thinking about things we can start planning for the youth in this area. It
Thank
sounds
you,
like you guys
Christina.
have it under control. So thank you, Roseanne and Anna.
Thank you. In the beginning, we did share some links. Like Roseanne said, we put in our efforts into rent relief and those food distributions. And so we did share some online classes and fun things for families to do, but we could definitely do a better job at that. We stopped sharing those links. And as an introvert who's been enjoying all this stuff online, I would like to see us offer some, hybrid of online and in-person classes.
Right.
Because there's been things that I've been able to enjoy from the comfort of my home that I wouldn't normally be able
Right.
to for distance or maybe transportation issues. Some people can't come in person. So maybe
Right.
there's something we could do to kind of blend that.
And Roseanne, you mentioned the library. We can always invite the city library manager. Every library has a city manager, library manager. So we can always reach out to that resource and invite her to come do a presentation about all the cool things that the library has available, both physically once they start opening up and online, because they do have a lot of great online things that people can start tapping into that they may not be aware of.
Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. I'm a big supporter of the library, and the former city that I worked at had 11
Right.
11 libraries. And so, in fact, when they created the city, one of the mandates for this particular city was that a library would not be more than 1 mile away from any point. So if you
Right.
lived here, you can go in any direction 1 mile and you'd encounter a library of some sort. So
Mhm.
the whole thing was to be able to um, have library space. So I agree. I know that our library physically is still closed, but there are a number of online services that are being
Right.
offered. So I too am looking forward to that next tier. And I think the red tier is going to open the libraries.
Right. And that would be great because they also have like devices that, if students still don't have devices, with schools opening back up, it'd still be hybrid. They'd still have to have a device, right? If the libraries open back up, the library, I used to work for the library. And so I know that a lot of people, for a long time, I thought it was just like an obsolete thing. But if you ever go to the library in the daytime, it's pretty cracking in there. There's people that go there for shelter when it's hot, when it's cold. They go there for the internet, for the free internet. They go to print things. There's kids that don't finish high school. They actually offer a GED program. And when they have a cohort of students that finish, they actually have a graduation for them. So it's actually pretty cool. They also have an awesome DJing program that started off in Compton and it moves around. It hasn't made its way to Bell Gardens yet, but it's, they actually have a DJ who comes and teaches these students the foundation of music and DJing. And then they have a event for them at the end that they each DJ whatever their little songs, but it's actually pretty cool. They have a lot of cool programs there and I don't think a lot of people know about them.
Right. I shared with Roseanne a few months ago that we have a new library manager.
Oh,
And we
okay.
had the opportunity to do one activity with her. We had a story time with our preschoolers there, but she was
Right.
really eager to work with us. So it should
Okay.
be
Yeah, because I used to see the old one, Soledad. I used to see her at the council meetings sometimes when they used to be in person.
yeah. So I haven't met the new library manager, but they were eager to work with us. So it should be a great partnership.
Right. Okay. Sounds great. Also, they also partner with some barbershops in like South LA to bring books into the barbershops while young men are getting their hair cut. They can always sit there and read a book. We can always talk to them about something like that, or donating their the books. They when books aren't being used, they shift out the old ones and bring in the new ones. Maybe we can talk to them about partnering, about taking some of those good books that people are still reading and place them in, some of our Bell Gardens offices, the youth center, Ford Park, something where children are always congregating and they could just sit there, wait. If they're waiting for somebody, they can always just grab a book from the shelf and start reading.
I used to take those free books.
Yeah, they put them outside of their door in the box.
Yeah, so I help myself. That's funny. I really like that barbershop partnership. We have a lot of barbershops in this town.
That's what I was just thinking of that. And I was thinking there's a lot of barbershops. They started the program in South LA, I believe. And so they started partnering with and providing them with the books for to put in a little shelf there that young men can read while they're waiting for their hair to be cut.
I like that.
Any other discussion regarding item F, virtual programming? No? Okay. We'll go ahead and continue on. Is there any public participation?
No, we didn't receive any questions or emails.
Okay, thank you. I'll continue with the next one. Are there any comments from the commission?
Yeah, I have a few comments actually. There's one thing actually I want to know if we're actually going to have such as day of service, which is that's my first point. Number two, Roseanne brought up a good point regarding the learning centers, but I'm thinking if we could actually leverage that for vaccine registrations. A lot of our residents are not tech savvy. I know I've registered a lot of aunts and uncles to get the vaccine, so that's something maybe we could utilize. I would volunteer myself if we could do something like that. And then finally, another thing I would like to see is form a stronger connection with our LA County Fire Department liaison, because I definitely want to see CERT classes in Bell Gardens and also CPR.
So her name is Maggie Valdivia, if you don't know. And so, I know some cities have really great liaisons that, get them the programs they want to see happen in their city. So I just feel like if you're not getting a response, you might want to escalate that up to the fire chief.
I had worked on something with her, but then our police chief said that they were going to have something in January, which now obviously we couldn't do, but we will connect with them to see if they still have a date for that. Because I agree the CERT classes are really important and we need to take them as well as city employees.
Right.
I know, Oscar, also, I know the police department is going to be doing some type of a cleanup on the 27th in relation to Cesar Chavez, but I will get the information, make sure it gets out. It's the same day as our egg hunt. So we're a little backed up there, but there will be some type of day of service, I believe, done on the 27th.
And you mentioned the vaccine registration. We have been working with our community to register them for the vaccine. I didn't give that update. I don't know, Roseanne, if you want to talk about the COVID vaccinations.
Yeah, sure. On let's see, March 1st, we were contacted by Assembly Member Garcia's office. They had 350 vaccines set aside for us on March 5th, and we registered well over 350 patients, I guess is what we would refer to them, and they attended the vaccine clinic. We're still doing our best to leverage a vaccine clinic here. They've been in the Southeast, but they've kind of jumped around. They haven't hit Bell Gardens. So we're trying, we've sent letters to our supervisor. We have contacted a number of folks up here to try to leverage a vaccine clinic because it is much needed. And as Anna has said, we assist residents whenever possible to sign up for appointments, whether it's in person or we just do it for them. And so I totally agree with you, Oscar. If we open up the bank of computers and encourage people to come in, staff can assist them in navigating the process. But I think we just kind of need a drop-in type of program. And I'm hoping that with the new vaccine, the Johnson & Johnson, that it's a one vaccine type of very similar to the flu shot, that we can offer that type of clinic. So the city since October is an approved MPOD. So we have been approved by the County of Los Angeles. We've been inspected by the County of Los Angeles, and we have an executed agreement that allows us to provide a vaccine clinic. So we're just waiting for somebody to provide us with the manpower and the vaccine, and we're here to serve and to provide access to our facility at on any given day, at any given time, to host a clinic for the residents of Bell Gardens, and it's extremely needed. I know for a fact that our mayor has sent a letter, our city manager, I have sent a letter, I have called, and wouldn't hurt if you're, as commissioners, want to reach out on social media to supervisor or anybody else to say, when is it Bell Gardens' turn?
Yeah, I actually have a meeting on Monday with it's a Latinx action group, all hands on deck, and it's basically all the movers and shakers in the healthcare industry here in Southern California. Like some are CEOs of different health organizations. So I'm definitely going to advocate for our city to have that. So I'll get back to you all, see if we can make any process.
Yeah, whatever we can do, we're ready.
Okay.
I have told staff that if we're told tomorrow the clinic, it's all hands on deck and we'll be available to provide this service. So any help we'll take.
I'm glad to hear that.
Any other comments?
I'm just looking forward to all the great things that the city has in store and planned for the kids and adults in this area. I'm looking forward to this partnership with the district to help bridge this gap and so that our students can achieve academic success with this distance learning. And so I'm just looking forward to all these partnerships that we have in store and have lined up. I was hoping maybe us as commissioners can come up with one goal that we want to achieve at the end of our, whatever you want to call this. What do you call it?
Term, I guess.
At the end of our term, think of one goal we want to achieve and then just work on trying to get that accomplished by the end of our term.
That's great. Thank you for suggesting that. I agree.
That was it for me.
Thank you. I do want to thank you guys for the updates on everything that's going on with Parks and Recs and with the city and education. I do want to share a little bit about the meeting that I attended with the Girl Scouts regarding Prop 68. I just thought, it's great to see these group of young females really take ownership of the city and trying to implement what they want to see change at our park. The girls were just so cute showing their pictures, and the constant thing that came up throughout the entire meeting was safety. So they were really concerned about the safety of the park, not just for the younger children, but also for adults. The one thing that they kept suggesting was that they wanted to see a playground for their younger siblings, for the little kids. And they wanted to make sure that that playground was secure and safe. So they were suggesting of putting like a fence around it or a gate. All these suggestions kept coming up from them. And I just thought that it was great to hear them be so thoughtful of others, but especially emphasize the safety. So thank you for inviting me to that meeting to hear everything that they had to share.
Thank you. It was nice to have you there. They're a pretty powerful group, small but mighty. And yeah, they really put a lot of thought into what they had to share. And we are going to take what they shared into consideration. It wasn't just for the activity, but we want to make it happen. The signage is what stood out to me. Signage that the kids can read, signage at their eye level. And so hopefully we can include that in whatever monies we receive from the state.
That's great to hear. Thank you. Any other comments before I request somebody to adjourn the meeting?
Lastly, I mean, I know I sound like a broken record, but I just want to give thanks to Roseanne, Anna, and everybody in Parks and Recs. You guys are really changing the narrative here in the city. And I always try to highlight our city, especially Parks and Recs, in all my meetings at work, because we're doing a phenomenal job. So thank you.
Thank you. We look forward to continuing to serve the community and just get better at it, because I think we're all excited here that we can do something in our field and make it fun. I think we're all kind of tired and we need some fun, and so do the kids. And so that's our goal in trying to bring some fun back into this community and into the children. They've, to me, are the ones that have suffered the most, whether it's academically or socially or psychologically. We just need to do better by them in all aspects of it. So that's going to be my goal here in the next 12 months.
Awesome.
And I'm definitely excited for April 1st to see the parks opening up, especially the skate park. I know that that's something that a lot of the young teens here have been vocalizing that they wanted to be able to use that skate park again. So that's great to hear.
Yes, I just saw an email from our website earlier. Somebody's asking about the skate park. So I'll be sure to reply to them, let them know. They'll be happy to hear April 1st is our date.
Any other comments? Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll motion to adjourn the meeting.
Can I get a second?
I second that.
Thank you. The meeting is now adjourned at 6:03 on March 11th. Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Diana.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much.